Yo, what's poppin'? Draft season is upon us, and we are here today for WBE Season 4 draft analysis. Thankfully, we got invited back. Shout out to the homie A-Drive, of course, and I was excited because this is going to be the first Sword and Shield draft that we're going to be a part of. I'm excited to talk about my squad that we picked up here for this season, and if anybody does not know what a draft league is, it's essentially a bunch of coaches picking mons in a snake-style order. And nobody can take a mon that's already been taken by another coach, so it makes a lot of really creative, unique teams, especially since the mons are split into different tiers. As you can see, there's Gmax, S tier, A tier, B tier, and C tier. So mons are divided based on, I guess, how good they are in their respective tiers, and it's just really interesting because it kind of sort of balances out the teams a bit. It also kind of encourages a lot of creativity when picking mons and stuff. And then you face off against different coaches and try to counter team their team, because you'll know basically you'll have a set number of mons. As you can see here, we have a total of 10 mons that we can pick, and then in each match we bring six Pokemon. So you have to try to bring the best 6 Pokemon to the matchup that you can, and it's really a counter team style of play. So it's a lot different than standard play that we are used to on Showdown and stuff, but it's fun. It's really fun, and I enjoy it a lot. It really inspires creativity, I think, in terms of building and stuff. But other than that, yeah, let's just get right into it. So if you guys made it to the draft stream today, you'll probably have seen my picks already, but I'm going to talk about why I picked each Pokemon and just go from there. So we ended up being pick number 3 in the draft order, which is really good because the first 2 Pokemon that were picked were Dracovish and Aegislash, even though I kind of wanted Aegislash just because I'm a very capable Aegislash user. I was kind of leaning more towards getting one of the newer Pokemon, especially since it's a new generation, first time in Draft League in this gen. So I was looking at the tiers, and I thought to myself, I was like, okay, well, firstly, right, Dynamax is banned in this league. Only your Gigantamax Pokemon can go for a Gmax. That's your Gmax captain. Similarly to last gen or the gen before, we had in draft leagues, we had like a mega tier Pokemon, so that you could only have one Pokemon that can mega evolve. That's kind of what the Gmax is in this league, in this sort of draft format. And that's really interesting because of the fact that I thought to myself, I was like, okay, well, if I get a Gmax Pokemon immediately, if I get a really good one, that could kind of help us snowball our way into a victory, because none of the Pokemon below it can Dynamax. And I didn't want to be scraping the barrel at the end for any kind of like lower tier, or like not as good of a Gmax Pokemon and stuff like that. I wanted to get a great one right off the bat. So I decided here to pick up none other than my Gigantamax Grimmsnarl, and that's going to be the first Pokemon we have for this league. Gmax Grimmsnarl is one of my favorite Pokemon this generation. Unfortunately banned from OU now, as all Gigantamax and Dynamax Pokemon are. This thing is an incredibly dangerous setup sweeper with bulk up. It has Prankster bulk up so that it can get off quick bulk ups, a quick setup here, and it's just very powerful. Base 120 attack is nothing to trifle with. Even a special attack is not bad, and it does have potential to set up with like Nasty Plot and stuff too, with Prankster. And the cool thing is that even though this thing is not bulky, its defenses are not bulky at all, at like I think 65 defense and 75 speed def, it has a base 95 HP, and what we know about Gigantamaxing is that its HP stat doubles. So a high base HP like that can make this thing very, very bulky in its form, in its Gigantamax form, which is why I think it's one of the best, if not the best, Gigantamax Pokemon in this generation. I think this round, in round 1, only 2 Gigantamax Pokemon went. It was Grimmsnarl, which I picked up, and then later on, I think this round, Hatterene also went. Hatterene is also one of the best Gigantamax Pokemon in this generation as well. So I was not surprised about that. But a lot of people just picked up their regular tier Pokemon, which is also fine too. But I think it was really worth it for me to pick this Pokemon up. This Pokemon was also an S tier Pokemon, the regular version of it. Regular Grimmsnarl is S tier, but I picked up Gigantamax because, like, Gigantamax, I think it's really good. I'm excited to use it too in draft, just to see how it does and stuff. It's gonna be kind of new for me in this generation of draft. It's gonna be very different, but I'm excited to try it out either way. Grimmsnarl, fantastic Pokemon. It has great setup opportunities, and also is a great screens user as well with Prankster screens, dual screens, taunt, T-Wave, and whatever. Got great utility, great coverage. And that's the first Pokemon. So on the way back, when it came back for round number 2, I decided to pick up a tier A tier Dracozolt. Dracozolt I've used in a video before, as well as Grimmsnarl. I'm really kind of picking up Pokemon that are sort of more my favorites. I'm just picking up Pokemon I enjoy, I like using, and just like overall, I guess. Dracozolt is one of those Pokemon, my favorite fossil Pokemon of this generation. With Volt Absorb and Hustle and stuff, it's just really solid. Bolt Beak is its signature move. It just hits extremely hard with a base 100 attack. Even if you don't run Hustle, if you don't want to miss or anything, it still hits really hard. It's just really a solid Pokemon. Dragon Electric is the not the first of its kind, unlike Grimmsnarl's Dark Fairy, but I think second of its kind, right? Because there's Zekrom and then there's Dracozolt. So Dracozolt can definitely, I mean, it has a lot of great coverage. I think it's really important to bring, or to have Pokemon that just have a solid amount of coverage. Versatility, I think, is super important in draft. I mean, to me, like, I'm the player that like loves to draft versatile Pokemon. So Grimmsnarl, Dracozolt, I think my nice Fairy Dragon here, Fairy Dragon kind of combination is going to be really fun to use. But they're both weak to Fairy, so I'll definitely have to patch that up later on, or throughout this draft. So my third pick that I decided to pick up here is going to be Seismitoad. Nice shiny Seismitoad. Seismitoad this gen actually, it's so much better because firstly, we don't have to worry about hidden powers. There are no hidden power grasses that can surprise us. So we have the knowledge that we need when we're looking at our opponent's team to figure out which Pokemon has a grass type move potentially, or which Pokemon could have grass type coverage. So that makes Seismitoad a lot better this gen. And also the fact that it's a very rare toxic user. Not a lot of mons get toxic this gen because of there's like no access to Pokemon Home yet or anything. And even if there is, this season of the league, you can't use any of that stuff. Even if it comes out, it's just the pre-home, the pre-whatever dex thing. You know, you guys know what I mean. But it's a rare toxic user. One of the Pokemon that can use Toxic is really nice. Stealth Rocker for the team, also has some really great coverage and all around balanced stats. Shout out to Chinese Seismitoad. Like, this thing is fantastic. I've enjoyed using it before, like in OU a lot. Back in the day of last gen, I used, I think, Seismitoad a bunch. And yeah, so we're bringing it back again. Has Water Absorb as well, so we can switch into that Dracovish that Wolf picked up round 1 of turn 1. The very first pick he picked, I think, was Dracovish. So we have a nice little water switch into that. So that's fantastic. And next up we have, so I decided for my next 2 picks, pick number 4 and 5, we're gonna try to complete that nice water, grass, and fire core. I picked up my grass type here. And this is gonna be my, I think, my B tier. So yeah, I think, yeah. So Seismitoad was B tier, Dracozolt was A tier, Grimmsnarl was A tier, and then I picked up a B tier Rillaboom. My starter Pokemon for this generation. I mean, it's easy access right there. Like, I have the Pokemon itself, and Rillaboom is cool because so firstly, I don't get Grassy Surge, unfortunately, because it's not released. But I think it's still a solid mon. It has base 100 HP. 125 base attack, which is really good. Hits really hard. Not that bad defenses at all. Especially its physical defense is 90, so it's not too bad. With 85 speed, which is it's pretty fast. You know, like in comparison to Dracozolt. Dracozolt's like 75. Rillaboom's faster, which is clean. It has setup options in Swords Dance, Bulk Up, and stuff. Very, very versatile, and it's one of the, it's like a rare Pokemon for knockoff. Knockoff is very limited this gen in terms of what Pokemon get it pre Pokemon Home. So we have we have the option for knockoff on that. It has U-turn as well, so we can run a choice item with that and start getting some momentum. So I mean, I do like Rillaboom, and I remember so I think Joey picked up Cinderace, A-Drive picked up the Inteleon, the water starter. And then I picked up Rillaboom, so we got the trifecta combination right there. They got the core of the the 3 kings right there. But yeah, so I do think that Rillaboom has a lot of potential in draft because of how versatile it is. So we'll try it out. Like I said, I'm a very versatile builder, versatile player, and I need Pokemon that have options. And these Pokemon, I think, these 4 so far have options. 5th Pokemon I picked up is going to be my fire type Pokemon. And I picked up I think another B tier in Arcanine. So Arcanine is, I think has a lot of potential this gen because of Heavy Duty Boots. Heavy Duty Boots is the new item that allows us to infinitely switch in on hazards as long as we're holding the item. It does not take damage from rocks, from spikes, anything like that. So that's nice because especially since this thing also gets Morning Sun, this thing can keep itself healthy. It can switch in infinitely on even if we have rocks up. And it just has some great coverage overall. I think it gets some new moves this gen, like Psychic Fangs and stuff, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, so like it has great stats overall, useful ability in Intimidate and Flash Fire, even Justified maybe. I think can potentially be used, but either way, I think that it's just really good this gen, especially since opposing Mons can't Dynamax, only their Gigantamax Mons can, so it makes the playing field a lot better for Arcanine. And of course, I had to pay tribute to the multi-battle league, to MBL, with myself and Joey picking up Arcanine, I think both seasons as we were playing in it. Arcanine's a fun mon. So yeah, that's gonna be my 5th pick here. So we have a lot of like overall diverse Pokemon. I think we've picked up so far 3 new Pokemon, and I was trying to get as many new Pokemon as I could that I thought were good or that I felt comfortable with in terms of just mons that I liked overall. And so for my 6th pick, I decided here to pick up my first C tier Pokemon, and that's gonna be Mr. Rime. Mr. Rime, you already know, like, I'm the creator of all these puns and titles and stuff. Like, I had to pick a Pokemon called Mr. Rime. This thing is cool. It has Freeze Dry. No pun intended. It's cool, but it has Freeze Dry. It has great setup options with Calm Mind, Nasty Plot, some pretty solid coverage. This thing actually has a recovery move in Slack Off too. Rapid Spin. So this is my, I guess this is one of my hazard control Pokemon for my team. Even though we have like Heavy Duty Boots all over, it's always nice or always safe to keep a Pokemon that can get rid of hazards. And Mr. Rime can do that because it just, yeah, I mean, it just does what it does. It dances. Like, it's got those Tangled Feet. I was debating though between getting Mr. Rime and Galar Mime. Galar Mr. Mime, it's actually a little bit faster. It's weaker. It's of course weaker than Mr. Rime, but it's bulkier with the Violet. It's a little bit faster. However, it does not get access to Slack Off, which I think was a huge point for wanting to pick up Mr. Rime. Mr. Rime gets recovery now with Slack Off. It has more special attack, and even though we're not faster, we have options such as T-Wave. I mean, if you look at some of our Pokemon, we got T-Wave Grimmsnarl, T-Wave Dracozolt, T-Wave Mr. Rime. So we had that option. And also, of course, Trick Room. Speaking of, T-Wave and Trick Room options on Mr. Rime, the next Pokemon I picked up also has T-Wave and Trick Room options. And let's talk about that. I'm moving on to pick number 7 now, which I did decide to pick up here, being another C tier Pokemon. We have 4 picks for that, so I wanted to be, I wanted to be on top of getting my C tier picks, especially since, a lot of mons will go from there and not a lot of great mons will be left. I decided here to pick up a C tier Xatu. Xatu was on the same team that I had with Grimmsnarl the very first time I recorded with it. I think Xatu is fantastic. Mr. Rime being a sort of a hazard control mon with Rapid Spin, being able to get rid of hazards and stuff for the team, even though, even though a lot of mons can run Heavy Duty Boots, hazards are not probably the best as they once were, maybe last generation due to that item. But still, it's great to have hazard control options, I think. Mr. Rime can Rapid Spin. Xatu can Magic Bounce. Xatu has more of an aggressive approach at getting rid of hazards, or sort of keeping them off of our side. Being able to just hard switch into a Stealth Rocks or a Spike or something and bounce them back. I think that's extremely useful. And it does give us our first flying type Pokemon for the team. Gives us a ground immunity, which is great. And Baton Pass is legal, of course. And in this league, we're allowed to Baton Pass anything bar like speed plus another stat. We can basically Baton Pass any stats together as long as it's not paired with speed. I think you can pass speed by itself, if I'm not mistaken, but maybe I am mistaken. I don't know. But yeah, like there's some rules with baton pass, so we can Calm Mind boost potentially into a Pokemon, like something that could potentially run a special attack. Even though a lot of our mons like Grimmsnarl, Dracozolt, Rillaboom, even Arcanine love to run physical attacks. We have a lot of physical attackers, but we do have some special attackers on the team, which can function with a baton pass. Otherwise, you know, we just have some great setup options. Xatu is very versatile. It has a lot of great coverage moves that it can run. It does have Roost, unlike some other you know, Pokemon that don't have it. You know, when Pokemon Home comes out, a lot of mons will get Roost, you know, through transfer, even though we can't use it in this league. But I'm excited for like Hydreigon getting Roost and Nasty Plot. But I am talking about other stuff now. But anyways, I think even Teleport, which is like a slow baton pass, Teleport now works where you can switch out, but it's like negative priority too. So that could be useful to allow us to baton pass into you know, something, just let Xatu take a little bit of damage if we have to, and then get something in safely. That could be cool. But decent stats overall, good speed, and yeah. So I have 2 psychic types though, but like it doesn't matter. I think Mr. Rime and Xatu, I wouldn't bring them both, I think, together. They both can function differently. So I did decide to pick them up, both of them, because I do like both those Pokemon a lot in this generation. For my 8th pick overall, so we're getting towards the tail end of the draft here. In C tier, I saw a steel type that I was very interested in. Also, actually, one of my subscribers or one of my fans actually messaged me suggesting me this Pokemon, but I've already been thinking about it. I was thinking about this Pokemon, so I was like, you know, great minds think alike. I'm gonna be definitely trying to pick this up if it comes back to me, and it did. So I decided to pick up C tier Escavalier. So Escavalier is a pretty decent steel type, I feel, in this generation. Now, there's no hidden powers, similarly to Seismitoad, which gives it a great asset in the sense that it does not need to worry about random HP fires coming out of Pokemon. We can look at a Pokemon, we can see if it has a fire type move potentially, and we'll know basically what could happen in the scenario if we stay in or switch out. So I think Escavalier is nice in that sense. It is a very hard hitting Pokemon with base 135 attack, 105 defenses, so it's pretty bulky as well. And I think it now gets access to close combat, which allows it to break through other steel types pretty well with Swords Dance even, and it has great coverage overall too. Even though it's really slow, it's kind of like sort of a Scizor of this generation maybe. I mean, there was also Durant in C tier, but Durant is, I think, a lot better in a Dynamax format, whereas in this draft league, there's no Dynamax allowed, it's only your Gigantamax. So I think Escavalier is a bit better in my opinion, so I definitely wanted to pick that up if it didn't go. But yeah, so now finally, for my 9th pick, second to last pick, I decided to pick up my tier 1 Pokemon, which I've been waiting all this time. I've not picked it up yet. Mainly because by the time I picked up Grimmsnarl and all the mons came back to me, like the ones that I wanted were gone. Or the ones like the S tier mons that I wanted were gone, except for like one which I didn't think would get picked up until maybe much later. And then I looked at like the draft and how things were progressing, and there was like another person that did not take a tier 1 mon, and this mon that I wanted looked so good on their team, and I was just like, yeah, I'm taking it right now before you get it. So I decided to pick up Conkeldurr. Conkeldurr this gen, I think, is so much more improved than last gen. Firstly, because of the limited number of Pokemon this generation. There are I guess a lot more mons that will fall to Conkeldurr. Secondly, it gets defog this gen. So now we have our Rapid Spinner in Mr. Rime, our Magic Bounce user in Xatu, and our defog user in Conkeldurr. So we have hazard control options. It also gives me a switch into status with Guts ability, so I can switch into a Wisp or a Toxic or something and just get a damage boost immediately right off the bat. But it's not exclusive to that. It also has Sheer Force and Iron Fist, so it can hit with other abilities pretty hard. Access to bulk up and setup moves and stuff. Great coverage overall. Priority Mach Punch, which is fantastic. This thing is also a great Darmanitan check, Galarian Darmanitan, which is allowed. So the ban list this draft is like Zacian, Zamazenta, Mew, Eternatus. I don't know what else is banned, but in terms of the Pokemon, but Aegislash was allowed, of course. I mean, that thing's been allowed, not in draft, but in OU and stuff. Darmanitan, which is banned, is allowed though. Gothitelle and stuff is allowed too. I think someone who picked up Gothitelle. I don't remember who, or I don't remember if anyone picked it up or not, but Shadow Tag wasn't allowed, of course. But yeah, so like a lot of a lot of these like Pokemon don't appreciate taking Conkeldurr's hits. So the ones that are allowed, and I think that's gonna be great for this Pokemon to be able to have like a lot of different types of versatility in what it can do. Even though I kind of want to run like 8 moves on this Pokemon, I can't do that. But yeah, 140 base attack is going to be hitting extremely hard. And this thing can be really bulky with like AV and just running it like Spadef bulk up and stuff. And Drain Punch can heal us back up all the way. It's going to be pretty fun to use. In draft, I'm excited to try it out because I've never really used a Conkeldurr in draft before. And for the last and final Pokemon of this draft, I decided here to pick up, of course I had to pick up my last C tier Pokemon. So I decided to pick up a C tier Cinccino. Now Cinccino is an interesting mon, as it has base 115 speed, so it's very fast. It has 95 attack, which is not the worst, but it's not the best by any means. However, this thing, I think I did see at one point in time when I was laddering in like the 1700s or the 1800s, there was one person I saw with the Cinccino on the ladder, and I was just like, yo, you're using this thing up here? Like, I mean, this thing maybe might have some potential in terms of being able to deal with a lot of Pokemon. So I took a look at its coverage, and lo and behold, this thing actually has some pretty good coverage. It has, firstly, Skill Link, which allows it to hit multi-hitting moves to its fullest potential, like Tail Slap, Rock Slide, and Bullet Seed all the way the max number of turns. Then it's got Knockoff, it's got like Gunk Shot and stuff too with Player Off, so, and U-Turn, Momentum. So it has pretty good coverage. And then it has like Calm Mind and stuff, and I'm just like, oh, wait a second here, Calm Mind Technician? Is this like trying to be a Persian or something here? Like, is this Cinccino pretending to be like a nice regular Persian or something? I don't know. This Pokemon is quite interesting. Like it has some weaker moves, like base 60 below moves that could work out for it potentially, like Calm Mind Round. I mean, this thing has T-Bolt too, so yeah, I don't know. I thought it was pretty fun, or a pretty interesting mon to use. I could slap. It has some disgusting sets. I could slap on a King's Rock and then just spam Tail Slap or Bullet Seed too. So it can definitely be a win con in certain scenarios, and speed tier is pretty nice too, so people have to prepare for it. But at this point in time, like in the C tiers, it was pretty barren. It was kind of a wasteland of Pokemon that I really didn't want. But Cinccino was looking kind of cool, so I figured I'd pick it up and try it out. Even though we don't really need like a really fast Pokemon, I just wanted to pick it up anyways. We have options for T-Wave and stuff. Like even this mon gets T-Wave. Hold up, this thing gets T-Wave too. So like that's kind of nice. We have speed control options. We have faster Pokemon. We got priority. We got a ton of priority on this team. Well, not a ton, but like good priority. We have Sucker Punch, Grimmsnarl, Mach Punch on Conkeldurr. And I think, I don't know if Rillaboom gets a priority move. Maybe it does. I'll have to check it out. But we got options. We got the tech. We got the tools. All right. We got things to use in this draft. But I'm excited to try them all out and see if this team works. It's only going to be, I think, not even a 10-week. I think it's like an 8-week season. Like it's kind of short, but it's going to be quality games. Like we have a pretty stacked schedule. I don't remember who all we play, but I remember looking at it and being like, wow, okay, we got to play a lot of nice talented players, Like, it's gonna be interesting. But I think week 1 we do play Pokemon week 1, so that's gonna be going up next weekend. I haven't played him since like the time that we played in WBE, which was maybe not the last season, but the season before, I think. I don't even remember, but yeah, that's gonna be it from me. Thank you everybody for watching. Hope you all enjoyed this draft breakdown, just sort of me rambling about my Pokemon and I guess why I think they're good, in my opinion. A lot of new Pokemon. I mean, like these are all kind of new Pokemon that I've not used before in draft. Seismitoad I have like once before, but that was like a gen before. I think now it's gonna be a little bit better, but we'll see if we can put in the work with this team. Usually, I mean, we generally like sort of catch on to what our Pokemon does in the draft and stuff, and kind of like keep up with things going on. Even though we have like a really tough schedule, like I said, but I think we'll do fine. I think we'll have a lot of fun too. Let me know what you guys think about my overall team. I always look forward to hearing from you all. And yeah, so just give me your praise, give me your best wishes. We'll try to win the whole thing, but I guarantee you I'm gonna make sure that we don't make it past finals. Nah, but it'll be fun either way. Like, I'm just excited for this season, to play with some Pokemon, play with some friends as well. It's gonna be a blast. So I'll see you guys on the next video, and peace.